Ooh, that looks tasty. Welcome folks, Stay the Hungry Gamer is back with another mini preview. Today we're talking about Effortless, Prepping for Adventure. Now, this is a game that I just discovered at RageCon because I was at the booth of the publisher and I went there just to say hello because I'm a pretty big fan of their other game called Expressions. And he asked me if I could cover this. And the Kickstarter had already started. And so you're seeing this video maybe for late pledges, maybe at the end of the campaign. And he was kind enough, him and his partner, to come and play with myself, Peter Vaughn, and Original Don late at night. Well, it wasn't supposed to be late at night, but we took forever playing this other game. They just hung out, and I felt terrible, but they hung out, and they showed us this game, and he sent me home with it, and we played again on the train heading home for TrainCon. And so this is a game where, ostensibly, you're kind of gathering what you need to go on an adventure. You're getting armor, and weapons, and all sorts of things. And depending on how you play, with what modules you have in, you might have a class and a race, there might be monsters that you're dealing with, and so on and so on. But at its core, there will be 6 different locations, and at these locations, each one will have some kind of modifier. Like it might be a silent crypt, or it could be a busy crypt, or whatever. And these are little puzzle pieces that kind of come together and have different things going on. So on the one side, the location, like crypt, there is an action that will happen if you go there. You go there, and you're going to take a cube off of your board, and these cubes are basically just tracking where you've put your effort. Put your cube out there and something's going to happen. It might be take the card that's to the right of the board. It might be draw 2 cards from another deck and keep 1. It might be take both of these cards and discard something from your hand. Whatever. At the end of the day, what's going to happen though is you're going to get a card with every cube. And then everyone's going to go around placing their cubes all over. They'll have different effects. Like there might be one where you put a cube here, you get to take a cube from somewhere else and move it. And that matters because the other side, the modifier, has some kind of in-game scoring. It might be 1 point per cube there. Or it might be the person with the most cubes here gets 10 points, or the person with the least cubes here gets -5, and so on and so on. So you're moving these cubes around, trying to mess around with getting the in-game scoring that you want, and then on top of it, the items that you're getting are going to do different things. They might be, say, set collection for points. It might be this is the thing that does something, but only if you have enough bonuses to your stats, because you also have stats D&D style that you're using and messing around with, which are going to result in points for whoever has the highest values there. And you're simply going to go around and through until the end of the game. You'll add up all the points. Most points is going to be the winner. So what do I like about this game? First of all, I like that it is a very simple game to learn and play. And the stuff that is not necessarily obvious, it's written right there on the board, is pretty easy to read and figure out. And it must have been 4 turns where I was like, okay, I know what's going on. The next thing I want to say is I really do like the variable setup. I like that it can be a silent crypt, or a creepy crypt, or a busy crypt, or I guess a happy crypt. I don't think the happy is one of them, but you get the idea. I like that kind of mix and match because some of the right side, the abilities over there, are really, really good. But if you hit on one that's going to be negative points, if you have the most cubes there, that's going to be different. And so it really gives some variant gameplay there, and I cannot express how much I like that. The next thing I want to say is, in addition to that variety in the setup, I like the different modules. I like that you can have a race and a class. I like that there's monsters that can come out and kind of mess around with whatever it is you're dealing with. I think that variety gives a little extra life to this game and makes it something that is more interesting to people as you go, because even if you get in at first, you're like, oh, this is a very simple game, you can start layering things on as you get comfortable with it. I love that the game plays very, very quickly. If you're playing this game for more than an hour, I don't know what's going on. And the last thing I will say is, and I've already kind of hinted at this, I think that the way the different locations work, I think that is fun. I think having those options, those choices, it just works really well. And within a very simple concept of this kind of drafting set collection, you actually have some very interesting ways to do that, and I think all of those are fun. So what are my quibbles with the game? The first one is, at least in the prototype that I have, when you're swapping around the modifier and the location, the art doesn't match. Like, the art matches up for certain spots. Maybe they're the silent crypt, the art matches up, but then when you swap it out with something else and the art doesn't match, and that really bugged me. So the next thing is, on the prototype, the spots for your cubes are numbered. And they're numbered in the weirdest way I have ever seen. Normally, if you're numbering something 1 through 20, you'd start at the top. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and go like that. There's 2 rows, so 1 through 10, 11 through 20. But it's not. It's the other way. For some reason, it's 11 through 20 and then 1 through 10. It's weird. It's so weird. And arguably, I'd say you don't need the thing down there. So that's just me being sticking on something, but it was really odd. And so I hope that's something that gets fixed. And the only other thing that I'm going to say, which is of particular use, I think, to those of you in my audience, my usual audience, is this game is, with no modules in there, this is like lighter than Ticket to Ride. It's just not a lot of game there. It's fun, but there's not a lot of game going on in that version. That was their target. Like, they nailed that target of a very, very simple game, and the designer told me what he's hoping for is when you put all the modules in, you're at like a wingspan weight. And I think that's probably right. I think they've nailed that, but a lot of people who are at least watching my channel, you are into a little bit heavier games. And so with everything in here, we're talking about a heavy, light game, or a light, medium game is the most we're going to get to. And so if you're looking for the type of thing I usually recommend, this might not be it. However, if you have young people in your household that you'd like to get into gaming, or maybe friends that don't do a lot of gaming, that are kind of gaming curious, this could be a cool option to kind of get someone in and introduce this basic concept, and you start layering stuff on. So it could be there, but just make sure you fully understand the weight of this game. But there you have it, folks. As always, if you found this video useful, please like, subscribe, share, maybe become a channel member. As always, thank you so much for watching. Have a wonderful, wonderful day.